Buenos dias a todos. Hi everybody, how are you doing? I'm missing you all. I'm looking forward to seeing you all next week. But for now, I'm going to be doing our first Spanish lesson. We're going to be learning about quite an unusual festival that takes place in Spain. So I'm going to show you a picture. I want you to see if you can work out what happens. Cool. So the festival's called La Tomatina. Obviously, there's pictures of tomatoes. The name kind of gives it away. It's basically the biggest tomato festival that takes place in the world. It takes place in a small village called Buñol. Buñol is in Spain. So if you have a look at the map, can you show me where Spain is? There we go, at the end of my finger. There's Spain. A little bit further north is us. Yeah, it's a little bit further south. So there's Spain. And I'm going to show you a picture of Spain. And if you can see the red dot, that's where Buñol is. It's right next to Valencia, which is quite a big city in Spain on the east coast. Quite a lot of people go to Valencia for the holidays. It's quite a nice place. So that's where it is. Okay. This village, Buñol, normally has a population of 10,000 people. But when the festival takes place, an additional 40,000 people arrive. So can you tell me how many people take part in the festival? Cool. So 50,000 people take part in the festival every year. Obviously, that's huge compared to how many people would normally live there. So on the morning of the festival, a whole bunch of trucks arrive. There we go. The trucks are filled with tomatoes. They come from the other side of Spain, the west side of Spain, called Extremadura. It's quite cheap over there. And they grow these tomatoes especially for the festival. They're grown because they're quite soft. So when they get thrown, they don't hurt you. But obviously, if they might squish against your face. They'll squish rather than hurt. So they bring approximately 125,000 kilos of tomatoes, which is huge. Okay? So, a little bit of maths for me here. If 50,000 people take part in the festival, and there are 125,000 kilos of tomatoes for those 50,000 people, how many kilos of tomatoes does each person get allocated? I'm going to give you a few seconds. Try and work it out. You might want to pause the video. Brilliant. Each person gets 2.5 kilos of tomatoes. Yeah? So, another little bit of maths. If each tomato weighs 100 grams and each person gets 2.5 kilos of tomatoes, how many tomatoes is it? So, bear in mind that 2.5 kilos is 2,500 grams and each tomato weighs 100 grams. How many tomatoes does each person get? I'll give you a few minutes to write it down. Have a go. Brilliant. So each person gets approximately 25 tomatoes. I don't think that each person is given tomatoes. I think they're just emptied from the trucks onto the ground and people just pick them up and throw them. But that's how many is allocated for each person. Brilliant. So at the start of the festival, there's quite an unusual event that takes place to start the festival off. So at approximately 10 o'clock in the morning, they get a massive piece of wood, like a long pole, and they cover the pole in soap, so it's quite slippy. And then they put the pole, the soapy pole, or el palo jabón, they put it up in the square, in the village, and they hang on the top a jamón. Jamón is a leg of ham. We don't really have them here. Let me just show you a picture of them. We don't really have them here. You might see them. You might see them somewhere in some specialist supermarkets, but really they're more famous from Spain. Basically, it's just the leg of the pig. You can see up there, it's its trotter. And what they do is they get this jamón and they hang it on the top of the pole. And on the greased pole, because it's quite slippy, what they do is they try to climb to the top. In reality, it takes quite a long time. So if they haven't gotten the jamón by 11 o'clock, then the festival starts anyway. And the start of the festival is signalled by a firework going off. So at 11 o'clock, the firework goes off, and that's when the batalla, the battle, starts. In fact, I've just missed out. I'm going to show you this picture. Here's El Palo Jabón, the big pole. And you can see right at the very top, there's the jamón. And it's quite crowded, and everybody helps each other climb to the top of the pole. So there's a big crowd at the bottom who are supporting this bit smaller crowd, and then an even smaller group, and then there's 2 people there who are quite close to the jamón. But as I say, that's quite tricky. So at 11 o'clock, if they haven't got it, a firework goes off, and the batalla, the fight, starts, okay? So obviously what they do is they just grab the tomatoes and throw them at each other. What more could you want from a tomato fight? I'll show you some pictures. There we go. People are covered in the juice, in the seeds, in the flesh. Lots of people, either their clothes are white and they're gone red, or they've just taken their tops off completely. There we go. Looks loads of fun, doesn't it? Brilliant. Looks great. So the batalla, the battle, takes an hour. It only lasts for an hour. So at 12 o'clock, so an hour after 11, another firework goes off to say that it's the end of the festival. Okay, so obviously everyone's in a bit of a state. So what they do is they come out, los bomberos, so the fire brigade, they will come out with the water hoses and they start washing down the streets, and they come out with big, they look a bit like snow, the snow shovels, to shovel away all of the tomatoes, and they all come out with their hoses to clean down the village. Before the festival, lots of the shops and the people who live in the streets where the battle's going to take place, they cover it with tarpaulin, which is this blue stuff, or they might cover up windows with wood to protect them from being smashed, because obviously you can get quite rowdy with there being 50,000 people in this tiny little space. So that's before, and then afterwards, you can see here, they come out with their hoses. Not only do they hose down the streets, but they also hose down the people. Okay, you can see they haven't got many clothes on there. So it looks loads of fun, and I would absolutely love to go one year. I think it looks brilliant. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to go to this website called La Tomatina Tours. It's got loads of information on there about how to get to Buñol, where you can stay, how much it costs, because you have to pay for tickets to go to the festival. When there are some rules about the festival, such as you have to squash your tomato before you throw it so that it doesn't hurt when you're throwing it at people. So I'd love you to go onto that website and find out information about the La Tomatina, and I would love you to make an advert for me. So you can make this advert. It's basically to encourage people from the UK to travel to Buñol to go to the festival. So I'd like you can do it on computer, you can do it on paper by hand, or you can record yourself on your mobile phone and send it to me. An advert telling me about the festival, telling me where and when it takes place, an itinerary. So when do you have to arrive for the festival? Where are you going to stay? How much is it going to cost? How are you going to get there? Are there any cool restaurants? Any rules about the festival that I was just talking about, which you'll find on that website? And anything else that you find interesting? I think on the website there's a history of how the festival started. So yeah, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys, seeing your videos or your work. Try and include some pictures. If you can't print out, then you can just draw them. I'm really looking forward to hearing from you. So have a lovely day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.